I built this in survival. Hi, I'm Juhber, and welcome back to the NSG server. Last time, we built our shulker sorter and in general just worked on our base. Today, we are going to talk about how and why I built this giant building behind me. A wise man once said, with great builds comes great resource gathering. And great spreadsheets. So we headed out to our deserted desert from which our decadent sand dessert is derived. And instead we got sandstone because we don't have to make concrete or glass this week. Times are a-changin' around here, I tell you. Next, we had to cut down a bunch of birch trees. A few people have offered to let me use their tree farms, but there's just something about cutting down a tree with just your hands and an axe. I have found that I do not enjoy it as much in real life though. I was able to pull a lot of resources for this build from my existing supplies. Real OGs call this hardened clay. Honestly, I've gotten used to just calling it terracotta. This project required a bunch of dark oak, so I acquired a bunch of dark oak. The last time I tried a high-speed entrance into the wool shop, I died. This time, I died not. A little bit of jungle wood in my life. A little bit of jungle planks by my side. A little bit of jungle stairs is all I need. A little bit of jungle fence is all I see. You know, the Endermen we use to mend our tools do not live a good life. When I got to college, one of the first people I met there told me that I reminded them of Bruce the Shark. That's not really relevant, but it does rhyme with spruce. In need of some end rods, I devised what is probably the least efficient method of gathering blaze powder ever, but it also might be the most exciting. And now we've collected everything. Well, I mean not everything, but everything I need for this project. I probably spent about 2 hours just crafting stuff from the raw materials that I had already gathered. I got a bunch of stuff from the cavalry as well whenever I realized that I hadn't actually collected everything. Spreadsheets are hard. He left himself a note. With our resource collection done, it was time to prepare our construction site, starting with our shulker boxes. Next up, we need to clear out the trees from where the build is going to go, we need to flatten out the area a bit, and we need to build up a bit of a retaining wall to where our foundation is going to be. I'm going to go back through later and terraform this and make it look pretty, but this will do for now. I thought it would be cool to talk a bit about the build as I built it. So this build is the first recreation of a real-life building I've ever really tried. And oh boy did I go all out on this. I'm building a bank for the NSG server.
But Juhber, what does a bank do in Minecraft?
Shut up dude, that sounds kinda like Juhber doing a dumb voice. I'll get to that in a minute. The way I got started with this build was by going to Google and typing in fancy bank. I looked around for a while until I found the CEC Palace and I fell in love. This building exists in real life in Bucharest, Romania. It was built in 1900 and is the headquarters of Romania's oldest bank. I believe in always giving credit when you use someone else's work, so the original designer was Paul Godero, a Paris-trained architect who I couldn't find anything else about. A guy named Juhber is responsible for recreating this building in Minecraft, and his channel information can be found very easily, because this is his channel, and I am him. Subscribe if you like his work and all that stuff. If any of this information or any of these pronunciations are wrong, I believe that the comment section is the appropriate place to yell at me. And here is a quick interjection where I talk about my ill-fated attempts to make a more traditional first-person Minecraft commentary. I recorded about 20 minutes of footage and my mic was muted. It would have been called Juhber vs. the Bastion. After careful consideration, I deleted the footage and went back to my bank. Maybe next time. The build was actually a lot more pleasant from this point on. If I were to make a recommendation for anyone doing a build of this size or scale, don't make the bulk of your block placement involve inverted staircases. It is not a convenient block to place. So let's talk about why I am building a bank on an SMP. Reason number one, it's an awesome building, and I like challenging myself. The second reason was to address two problems that I have perceived with the NSG economy. Now I have to be very clear. I am in no way an economist, so if something I say sounds really dumb, it probably is. Perceived problem number 1 was a new one that was introduced with Minecraft 1.16. With the introduction of netherite, we have a second, non-farmable, scarce, valuable, and potential currency item in the game. The issue with this is that there's no set exchange rate between diamonds and netherite. I've tried selling netherite in the Levy Sheep, but I think it would be much better to have an exchange where people would be allowed to exchange diamonds for netherite or netherite for diamonds. The second perceived problem is that people aren't buying things. This is caused by a combination of a bunch of self-sufficient people on the server and not enough diamonds in circulation. Now, I'm sure people have diamonds, but if no one is spending them at your shop, it makes more sense to hoard them rather than spend them, because you have no income. All of these problems basically feed into each other, so my plan is to give people diamonds, but with the caveat that they have to spend them in the shopping district immediately, in any shop but their own. Now, will this jumpstart the NSG economy? Who knows, but it's fun to think that it would. As I get to the roof, I've thought of a second recommendation to make for massive builds. Making a roof out of slabs of alternating materials is almost as frustrating as the inverted stairs thing. These 4 dome-like structures at the corners are what first drew my attention to this building. It is very unique architecture and it's very cool. I'm totally going to make a new office in this upper area of the bank. I don't even have words for how cool I think this upper central dome is. Okay, I'm going to try. I think this dome is cooler than a penguin on New Year's. It took a while to do all the detailing on the windows, but it makes a huge difference on how the build looks, and it's totally worth it. The last thing I did on the building itself was this central decorative piece. I don't feel like I did the real thing justice, but I still like how this came out. And then, I finally could rest and watch the sun set on a grateful universe. Gotta do a bit of cleanup. In order to use the bank, people have to be able to get to the bank. So, I killed some more nature. We made a path, built some flower beds, and then I started blending in the base of the bank with nature. That's actually the name of my new Minecraft series, Will It Blend, where I try to terraform convincingly and fail, so every episode ends with me saying, no, it doesn't blend. Did you know that turd was an anagram of dirt? And that's what Podzol looks like, turds. But I think it actually works pretty good right here. I cleaned up the foundation. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do on this front part. But I do know that it could use a little foliage. And I probably would have kept working on this forever, but the server updated to 1.16.2, and I haven't been able to update everything I need in order to continue, so this seems like a great place to stop. I spent a lot of time on this, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope that you did too. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.